Well, let's bring in technology journalist Marianne Russon, who joins me now live. Marianne, this is perhaps confusing for many users, embarrassing for Apple. How do you think it happened?
It could well be somebody within Apple who isn't happy about the war, who might have made a little change somewhere, perhaps.
Hmm. Yes, and you would think that Apple's systems and updates and checking teams would have perhaps come across this sooner. Can it be fixed quickly?
I'm sure it can be fixed immediately. These are not difficult things. It's more just they have to pull out the patch, the update has to go through to operating systems, and then you have to hope that people will download that update onto their phones, onto their devices. But honestly, it would have been something that someone has done within Apple, probably to showcase their feelings about the current war. And yes, it's something that's very easy to fix.
Right, and that's because emoji defaults require human intervention, so it may well have been an in-house decision.
I'm not going to say it's an in-house decision. Sorry, you can't get me on that. What I will say is, if a certain developer within Apple, not Apple as a whole, decided that they wanted to do this while they were putting that out, everything is a little bit of code. You can change a little bit of code and hope that other people don't see that. That's what my best guess is. So as Apple said officially, they didn't do it deliberately and they're going to change it right back. So I would
What do
say
you think?
that somebody within Apple did this.
Okay, what do you think the potential sort of discriminatory implications of it may be? Storm in a teacup, or something perhaps more significant?
I wouldn't say it was that significant. I mean, the significant thing is if the war stops, right? And that's not going to be affected by an emoji. I think this is nothing much really. I can understand why the Jewish journalist said that they weren't happy about that. I can also understand why some people might feel that they wanted to do that. So I don't think that an emoji has any bearing on the global financial economic collapse we're currently experiencing or anything else of any grave matter.
Indeed not, but plenty of social media platforms have been accused of reducing the reach of pro-Palestinian content since October the 7th, since the conflict in Gaza got underway in a process known as shadow banning. Is that something you can expand on slightly for those who aren't aware of it?
So what I will say is that none of the tech giants would like to take they'll want to take sides in this war, but in particular they are very keen not to upset the tech industry in Israel because they have huge ties to the tech industry in Israel. So it's like trying not to take sides while still trying to point out human rights abuses. So what I will say is, they might be shadow banning some of that content, but I don't think it matters hugely because there are millions of Muslims and concerned people around the world. And if you take a look at any social media network, you will see huge numbers of posts about dying children, blowing up hospitals. So, I think it's difficult the decision that they have to make within the company. What do we do? Do we try and stay out of it? Do if the global public is upset about this issue and they're constantly posting this, how much of this can we restrict? From what I'm seeing, it could be argued they're not restricting enough because those posts, those stories are definitely coming through to me. And I don't think the global public will stop talking about it. So if a huge number of people continually discuss the war, I don't think the best efforts at shadow banning it will be enough. And if they do too much blocking it, um, I think something will be said by society and by governments, which they also don't want to draw the attention of, right? They don't want to draw even more notice and attention from governments to legislate them,
That
right?
it,
So
yeah,
it,
that
it's
is.
a dicey thing.
It is indeed, and it's a very interesting bit of analysis you just gave us there about shadow banning. Marianne, thank you very much indeed. Always a pleasure.